Hi everyone, I'm Sophie, the Artistic Autist, and today I want to talk about how different autists react to medication compared to neurotypicals and compared to other autists. I've actually made a post on Instagram about this, and I sound like I'm making sign language. I'm sorry, but that's my way of communicating and stimming and everything. I made an Instagram post about it, and you could read most of the information there, but I want to talk more detailed about the things that I learned and details about me and how I react, and want to talk in general about the experience other autists have had. Sorry guys, but I want to take this as an example. You've seen me storm out and be very uncomfortable. That was because my cat was kind of smelly today, and the smell was just too much for me and my system and overwhelmed me, and I needed to get rid of it. So that's what just happened. Sorry. Yeah, let's start. Autistic people have a different nervous system. They have neurodiversity, basically. So different neuronal ways to connect, ways to work out information, ways to react to sensory impulses and everything. And that's what medication is influencing. So it's pretty reasonable that autistics react different, since everything is a little different here. But it's not something researchers really think about. Doctors don't really at all, and that's because most of the research and most of the tests are done on men and like the 70-kilogram typical man. So that's why heart attacks kill more women than men, because women react different. They have different pains, like jaw pains, while the man is typically having like tightness and pain in his heart area, and pain in his hand, and things like that, while women can have different kind of pains here, pains up there. And that's why most doctors don't see the heart attack, and they may be sent home, and then they unfortunately die or come back very late and have more problems. And this stands for every different neurotype that isn't a typical one too. And this way we kind of know that, or some doctors know that autistics react weird, and some don't even know that, but they haven't really put some research into it. So I couldn't look up things like, why is it that we react different? All that I could do was ask my autistic friends and the community if they have something that they react to differently, to show how we could react and what's very common and what not. Let's start with me. I am very allergic, and that's pretty common. If you watched my video about Neanderthals, we also think that allergies come from Neanderthal genes. We don't know by now, but we think, because their immune system needed to be stronger because they were faced with the coldness and everything. So that's why we connected. And then there are things like problems with your mast cells. Those are the things who do generate the allergic reaction with the histamine. They spread out if they think that they need to collect other immune cells and make the veins and arteries wider, so the blood rushes in there and all the other immune cells can rush into the area. This way more liquid gets into the area and it swells, and all of those things, but I can talk about it more closely. If you are interested in this, just leave a comment and I will know. So you can have problems with those cells, which means that you get random allergic reactions to things you have not been allergic to earlier and other things like that. We also know of other diseases like EDS being more common. EDS is if you can spread your fingers to down there or your thumb to down there, how able you are to stretch things and how stretchy your skin is, and it can also be connected to bowel movement problems and many more. In general, autistics tend to have more problems with the stomach acid and other parts of the digestive system. And there are many more of those diseases. So there are things that need to be treated. That's not autism, but it are genes that come with autism and that might lead to a higher potential disease in those kinds. That doesn't mean that autistics are weaker or something like that, because normal human beings also have those things. It might be different diseases that they tend to have more often, but we are not better or worse than anyone. So with taking in mind that there might come diseases that we need to be treated for, or things that are psychological, like for example having depression because of the way we are treated and the way we feel about these things. One example, I've always thought I was untreatable because nobody could help me, because nobody knew that I was actually autistic and needed a different kind of help. And that can make you very depressive and can make you very scared because you don't know what's going on. So I got antidepressants and I got medication for my fear sometime in my life. I'm not talking about now or anything, because I don't want to talk about which medications I now take and later took to make anyone feel like he needs to take them or he can't take them. So that's something I took once in my life because of the things that came from being treated wrong. And I had some reactions to medications. To one of the medications, I reacted in gaining weight, which was a very, very rare thing that could happen with that medication. And it happened to me. So a very rare thing that can happen with a medication is probably something detected in a different neurotype. My way of thinking is that medications are tested on a widespread of humans, and you don't know if there are autistics down there or someone with a different neurotype, and those might gain the very rare kind of reactions. So that's probably the reason why I got this very rare side effect. And there are other things, like I needed to be treated for something with cortisone, which reacts with the immune system and makes it weaker, because it was something that came with my immune system. As you know from earlier on, our immune system is maybe also different and we have more allergies and stuff. And my stronger immune system made me react to things that I shouldn't react to, like the allergies and some way of my own body, basically. I haven't really tested if I have autoimmune disease. I'm in the moment testing out so many things and need to work on so many health things. I don't really have time for that. But it's something I keep in mind. And I needed to take cortisol, and that made me react very strong with a strong weight gain that didn't go away when the medication was not in my system anymore, which is not common. And most of the things that I talk about are not really common, but it's the way we autistics most of the time react to them. I'm not the only person who reacted that way to medication like cortisone. So what I'm talking about is also affecting other autistics. I had pain medication that wasn't at all working for me. Like, literally, I wasn't feeling any effect. Like, I thought I just ate sugar candy. Like, the effect was nothing at all. I'm also not the only one who talks about this, but I will later read comments from others that I got and that tell you the same thing, basically. The next thing, most of the medications that I take didn't really help me fall asleep. It was the same way, like no effect. Or sometimes it is an effect, a little bit helping basically, and then it stops helping after 1 week or so. Like, I get used to medication really fast, and sometimes they are weaker. In general, I really get used to medication so fast. And I need to up the level or work on a different kind of medication, and that can be so stressful because medication, you take it when you really need it, at least for me. And if the thing that should help you stops helping you, then it's kind of dangerous and scary. In general, medications that have a side effect like making you very sleepy, I take them and I'm like, sleepy? I'm not at all sleepy. I accidentally took the night medications once in the morning, and in the night medications there were things in there that should make me sleepy. And I accidentally took them in the morning, and I didn't realize because they had no effect on me being sleepy or anything. So I just realized when I wanted to take them in the evening that I accidentally took the wrong thing. So as you can see, it did not have an effect at all. And I didn't even hear this, so it was not me influencing that at all. So that was kind of everything that I could think of now and thought of in the last weeks. There are probably things that I forgot, that I reacted to weird. Like, for example, I can think of another thing, but I basically said that I needed to have a gastroscopy because as many autistics, have problems with digestion and stomach acid and things like that. And for the gastroscopy, you're thankfully not awake, but you're not as much put down as for surgery, so it's kind of in the middle. And the medication that should usually make you be in that sleepy phase, I needed double the amount. The first amount was like injected into me, and I was looking, and I was like thinking, shouldn't I like get asleep now? And looking at all of the things around me, and then one doctor said, she's not getting sleepy at all, right? And I was like, nope. And then he looked at things like, did it get into my veins and stuff like that, and he then realized it actually got into my veins, so there's not a problem, that I was just not at the right place. So after that, they injected again the same amount, and that was enough to make me fall asleep then finally. But I, as I was told later, wasn't really that asleep. I just thankfully don't remember something being put into my mouth and down my throat because, I also remember another thing. I react to those latex things sometimes, and sometimes I don't react. That might be like muscle problems, but I haven't checked that because, as I told you earlier, there are so many health problems going on, I can't focus on things like that. I just avoid them. Okay, but now, move on to the others. First person said, neuroleptics have no effect. Benzodiazepines, sleep pills, don't really work that much. Calming medication in general has the opposite effect. Sleeping medications make me very hyperactive. Pain meds already work with very low doses, and they always have the rarest side effects. You can find many things that are just like within me, except for that pain meds react the very opposite way. With autism, it's very often the extremes that you can find. Someone else is saying that they react to latex band-aids. Another person, I always react very strongly to medications. So this can happen too. As I said, the extremes is what's mostly common. The effect that medication has on me in general is weaker. That's another person, and extremes again. I don't react to most of the pain medications. So the person is exactly like me in that part. Another person, to all of the meds I took for allergies or pain or asthma, I reacted very strong. The medication I take to stop the pain isn't enough, but it would be dangerous to take more. That's also something that can happen and that can be very scary for us autistics. The next person, on an antidepressant that I took, I fell asleep 24/7 and I had to switch kinds in order to stop that. Yeah, that's also an extreme, the other way around than with me. And of course that can make your life harder too. I need more medications to have the same effect, says the next person. And she's not alone, as you can see. The next one doesn't react to pain medications at all. Another one is allergic to some medications. And the last person that I asked for my survey said he and so on needed a high dose of pain medication to have an effect. And my goal with this video is basically, if you're autistic, then don't feel weird, you're not alone. This is a very common thing in autism. And if you happen to be a scientist, we could start working on that problem. I definitely think that that is something that needs to be looked into, and that hopefully will be looked into in the future. We are getting more and more into the every patient reacts different things, and we are getting to know more and more that every patient just reacts different, and which patients happen to react very different and which not. And I hope that in the future this won't be that much of a problem anymore. Yeah, let's start. Yeah, and that's what makes the allergies. Then there are things like mast cell deficiency syndrome, MKACS, and that can make you very depressive and someone else is saying that react to latex band-aids. I don't react to the most pain medication. So again, that's it for this video. As I said, I hope this information can be spread and we can finally work on it and you can feel less alone. Yeah, bye!